My name's Mainframe. You probably reached out to me after what happened at the Rapid Rabbit. I am a Deca, and this is the first of a series of Deca Diaries, for those of you who don't know what the hell a Deca is, or what the hell we're doing. So rule number 1, no refunds. You paid for this, this is what you get. I don't care if you like it. Number 2, take notes. This video is going to self-destruct, so, I don't care if you memorize it or you write notes down on your old-fashioned paper, whatever you do. Rule number 3, Decas are ninjas. We're not samurai. I don't care what you think. We're doing this for our own reasons. That said, if you like what I do, great, you have good taste. The Matrix. Decas, it's where we live. Every device, every person with a comm link, everybody out there is on the Matrix somewhere. And that's where our work gets started as Deckers. Now, what happened at the Rapid Rabbit the other night? I dropped into some VR and I looked around for some devices because I noticed that a couple of those guys probably had smart linked guns. I used a couple of attacks, things that we Deckers can do. I threw a little data spike at a couple of those smart links. It's like an old-fashioned buffer overflow kind of thing. You're trying to overwhelm a device and brick it. If it's bricked, you can't really use it for shit. The only way you can do an offensive thing like that on the Matrix is to have a cyberdeck. Cyberdecks are illegal. Let's get that straight right out of the gate. But if you want to be decking, you can't just use your comm link. You're going to need something with some attack and some sleeves. Now, cyberdecks are expensive, and we'll talk later about choosing your cyberdeck if that's something you're interested in. But let's just assume that you have one. You're going to want to get onto whatever grid you're on, do some perception, look for devices, and if you see somebody with the smart link gun, you can do some damage. Throw a data spike like I did. Brick the gun. Now, beware, you're probably going to get the gun thrown at you like I did, but at least you stopped it from firing. Of course, your party's not going to be gracious about that shit. They're going to run around saying they did all the work and all you did was hit keys, but you know that you stopped that gun before it fired a bullet to their head. And that's what's important. Again, we're ninjas, we're not samurai, we're not doing it for the data spike. It's your friend, learn it, use it. Now, in later diaries here, I'll talk to you about hosts. Not all devices are just floating around on grids like that. If you're working on a corporate Shadowrun, you're probably going to need to break into some hosts. And that opens up a whole new world of options and file editing and cracking files. That's for a later time. But if you are just starting out and you're trying to be defensive, some matrix perception, some data spikes, those are going to be your best friends to start out. The shit is thankless. No one's really going to know what you're doing on the Matrix. Oh, one last note about AR versus VR. So augmented reality, most of you are already running that. If you've got glasses, anything with the data link, you're seeing augmented reality. You're seeing the real world plus stuff. You can drop into virtual reality like I did, but you're essentially a ragdoll in meat space. So if somebody tries to fire a gun at you, you can't defend. So do that with caution, all right? Get behind something. Make sure you're at least behind a wall, or one of your team members has your back. AR is fine if you just want to do one or two things, but if you're really decking, you're going to need VR. And there's different types of virtual reality. We'll get into that later, but just I think that's some basics. Remember, your Deca is your friend, and even if they're not shooting for you, they are protecting you on the Matrix. So respect them, all right? Or else they just might break your own gun. So be careful. All right, this is Mainframe. Remember, no refunds, and I'll see you on the next diary.